The National Clouds of Joy, and Tell Me Why You Like Roosevelt. Recorded in 1949 and available on Crazy Cat Records, Get Right With God, Volume 1. Before Otis Jackson, Run DMC and Hit It Run. Our session by the Weather Prophets was recorded at the BBC in Manchester on the 11th of June of this year, produced by Clive Gregson. And the roll call of the band, Peter Astor, guitar and singing, Dave Morgan on drums, Greenwood Golding on bass, and O'Sheen Little on guitar. 4 songs you're going to hear, and the first one you're going to enjoy, Mayflower.
What it means, I don't know, but I can see penthouse life, the money breathe, a lucky place in the house of greed. It's all is raining down on me. Selfish wish, stupid need, I hit it to the ground by the cat. I'd even take my very own life. I knew it would make you happy. Anything at all, yeah, anything for you. Now ain't that
Now there's a long pause now and it goes into another bit, but I think you've had the best of it. That's Scratch Acid from the LP Just Keep Eating. That was called Ain't That Love, here you see. Doesn't really add a great deal to the sum of human knowledge. Before that, Supercat and History. And staying with history, this is Nick Drake.
who can know thoughts of Mary Jane? Why she flies or goes out in the rain? Where she's been, who she's seen in her journey to the stars. Who can know the reason for her smile? What are her dreams when they journey for a mile? The way she sings and her long forgotten rings make her the princess of the sky. Who can know what happens in her mind? Did she come from a strange world, leave her mind behind? Her long lost sighs and her brightly colored eyes tell her story to the wind. Who can know the thoughts of Mary Jane? Why she flies or goes out in the rain? Where she's been, and who she's seen in her journey to the stars.
That's Nick Drake from 1968 with Richard Thompson on guitar, The Thoughts of Mary Jane. A sad story, the story of Nick Drake, and if you get hold of the new 4LP box set, it'll tell you the whole thing. I mean, there would be no point to me, I think, outlining it if you don't already know it. But the 4LP box set on Hannibal Records is called The Fruit Tree, and it is 3 previously available LPs for Island Records, I think it was, and this LP, which is called Time of No Reply, 10 previously unreleased tracks, it says, including 7 completely new songs, plus the 4 last session tracks. These are the 2 Helens.
Children running round. a bird as it strains to the sound of the curve. I went to the curve, into the curve, into the curve, into the curve. I went to the curve.
Those are the two Helens, and it comes from an LP called Reflections in Red, which includes 2 tracks recorded originally for BBC Radio Scotland, and that's not one of them. That's called Heaven and Hell. And today been a rather grim day for me, because I'm not sure if you were listening to last night's programme, but in the act of, very decently, I thought, rescuing a couple of birds from my chimney, I did my back in. I was having to turn around at a peculiar angle and push a plate in the side of the chimney upwards and then hold it there to avoid crushing the wounded birds. Covered myself in a great quantity of soot in the process. So I was pretty heroic, but as I say, I've done my back in. But I cheered myself up by reading what is rapidly becoming one of my favourite magazines ever, which is a football magazine, as you might imagine, called When Saturday Comes. Issue 3 was what I was reading, and there's some highly... Emlyn Does Brilliant is a favourite part of it. There's a lot of stuff about the World Cup, as you might imagine. Then there's another bit with an amusing title. Hold on. Then there's a whole series of stuff about where they grade the managers of the Premier League teams in Scotland according to dourness, and a piece, hold on, where is it? Why bother anyway? How big is big? But in the bit Emlyn Does Brilliant, which is all about the World Cup, they have a number of awards which they hand out, which I think I'll pass on to you, because some of them are really quite good. Like the Worst Shirt Award goes to Denmark. Utterly understandable that they wanted to rush home to change as soon as possible. There could have been a challenge here from Scotland if the deranged individual who concocted their shorts had come up with an equally horrific motif for the shirts, which is quite true, too. Terrible shorts, those. There's something rather rude about Ray Wilkins, which I don't think I better read you on the radio, but I would like to direct your attention to nevertheless. South Korea must be commended in the bizarre strategy section for not attempting to play until they were at least 1 goal behind. There were also runners-up in the section for countries with an offensive right-wing dictatorship. Winners, of course, were England, which is crossed out, Paraguay. At least no one referred to the Koreans as little men or marvelled at how alike they all were, as Frank Boff did when commentating on their northern neighbours in 1966. And there's something about the various ways in which teams celebrate the scoring of a goal. This time, a method favoured particularly by the Mexicans, says this excellent magazine, was for the scorer to rush furiously around the pitch, crying, shouting and lifting up his shirt with his teammates and FIFA officials in vain pursuit. And then there's a whole series of awards here. In the other categories, another Belgian, Patrick Vervoort, which is pronounced incorrectly, sneaked the best haircut, bouncing page boy, from the Paraguayan Cesar Zabala, exploding quiff, and the Italian Viali, Sampdoria skinhead. Anyway, it's excellent stuff. It's only 20p. I suppose it qualifies as a fanzine. I'm sure they wouldn't be ashamed to say that it was a fanzine, and I'll give you an address for it in just a moment. After this, from the Slits, Newtown. Those are the Slits from 1977, and that's called Newtown. Incidentally, if Walters is listening, it was Gary Birtles whose name we were trying to remember last week. And the address for when Saturday comes, issue number 3 is the one that I've been reading, is very simple. Couldn't be simpler, really. It's 157 Robinson Road, London, SW17. Should present no problems at all. 157 Robinson Road, London, SW17. 20p and a large stamped addressed envelope, I venture. Tackhead and DJ Cheese. Been around for a while, this, but we seem to be going through a DJ Cheese period, and why not?
The king of the beat. The king.
Is there a way out? That's Tackhead with DJ Cheese and some of the work of Adrian Sherwood, of course, and he's going to be featured. In fact, the whole of the programme, I think, of Steve Barker's On the Wire on BBC Radio Lancashire this Sunday is going to be devoted to old, new, previously unheard work of Adrian Sherwood's. I should like to be able to hear it myself, I must say. Micronauts. Excellent. That's Big Al Sears, and it comes from an LP called Ride in the Rift. Tom, Dick and Harry is the title of it. And before that, Micronauts and the title track from an LP 40 Fingers. And this is regarded, I think perhaps rightly, as being one of the classic session tracks of the late 1970s. The Prefects from 1978, and the Bristol Road leads to Dachau. From 1978 in our Super Summer Sound Spectacular, those are the Prefects, and the Bristol Road leads to Dachau. I know Janice has been playing a track or two from the new Eyeless and Gaza LP. In fact, I know she's played the title track at the very least, Back from the Rains. Here's another track from it. This is Twilight.
Where did I go that dreamlike day? Sirens crying on the rain. Out and along the wide roadway, figures shuffling down the street like day. Where twilight comes rise, twilight will turn rise, twilight comes rise, twilight will turn rise, twilight. I'm walking in this rain, I never wanna claim her. Singing hard, I only want the proud, I only want the brave, leaving hearts. I'm walking in this rain, I never wanna claim her. Cheating hard, I only want the proud, I only want the brave. Walking through all this twilight, comes rise, twilight will turn rise, twilight comes rise, twilight will turn rise, twilight. I'm walking out a day when I couldn't say what I want. Coming to a change where a new day waits with a glow. I'm gonna take this change, gonna ride this change, make it mine in so many ways every single day. Mine's the beginning, twilight comes rise, twilight will turn rise, twilight.
Sweet little romance. I'm so glad we met, my John. Call you every day on the telephone. Break your neck if you ain't home.
The Way They Were. Those are the Slits, Love and Romance, from one of the very best sessions ever recorded for this programme, I think, in 1977, October of that year, on the 8th, in fact, produced, I think, by Tony Wilson, but I'm not quite sure. UTFO.
Prehistoric MCs, we're here to disgrace Mixmaster Ice. Pick up the pace. A lot of MCs stood in our way, but that's why they're not here to tell it today, because we totally demolished every inch of remembrance they left behind. If he exists, there's now no sign of the sucker MCs that couldn't outrhyme, because nobody but us runs the rap race. So Mixmaster Ice, pick up the pace. increase when I say a rap that I have to release to the population inside of a club. And this is consummated with the aid of dub. The version of the record I call the instrumental, while I take the microphone and toy with the metal. There isn't a rapper I can't erase. Mix master ice. Pick up the pace. I don't know if I'm right. Tell me, is this true? Am I the best thing that ever happened to you? I don't want to hear nada. Don't tell me no. I'm not kidding. I can't go. Do you remember me? Remember we was at a party and we was dancing close and you was feeling up my body and you said that you loved me and you wouldn't love another. I'm sorry, girl, that wasn't you. That was your mother. Mix master. Pick up the pace. Stop and let's change the track. Yo, full force, bring the beat back, but make it worth my while and bring it back reggae style. Special request to the Brooklyn party. Right. Special request to the Brooklyn party. Oh. Me need me sweet, me not do it, me flat, me live, me fast a couple phone, me on the mic, me not do it, Stefan mixing, no I to do it, find it, why did it die, hey ya? Can me say, find the go, say me find the go, Lord. Find the go, me say me find the go. Say out of me, mama, them your lyrics just a flow. The car want me drive is a Christmas ball. The engine and I eat jam and a strictly turbo. Jaman, me hungry, well Sergio. Me hear, me there, me all over the place. Mix master, ice. Pick up the pace. Pick up the pace. Pick up the pace. We're gonna tell Mix Master. Pick up the pace. Mix Master.
A big favourite of Andy Kershaw's and myself. I think that's UTFO from the LP. Pick Up the Pace is the title of that. Special request to the Brooklyn Posse. This is Triffids. These are
Just as far as for every darkness, now she's not there. It's getting darker now, she's not there. Reach out in the darkness, now she's not there. Reach out, it's getting darker now. She don't belong here anymore. Learn the hard way. She don't belong here anymore. She don't belong here anymore. Learn this the hard way. She don't belong here anymore. You're starting from house four. Pick yourself up. Hold yourself up to the line. Pick yourself up. Hold yourself up to the line. Stop your head. Watch the blade. This is stolen property. This is stolen property. This is stolen property. This is stolen property.
Well, now that comes, of course, from the LP Born Sandy Devotional on Hot Records, the Triffids and Stolen Property. And to the first from the Prefects, one of two sessions they recorded for the programme before they vaguely transmogrified into the Nightingales under the generalship of Robert Lloyd. This is Things in General.
Action packed, things in general. Hey you, get cute. Video, this is the video style. Video, the Manchester video. This is not commando, this is not Rambo. This is not the style named G.I. Joe. Say I ain't never do not come to star up. This is a competition, something that you don't know. This is the video, the Manchester video. Yeah, this is the video, the Manchester video. Wow. So just the other day I read it in the paper. The video, some girls on a tape recorder in a chorus and balaclava. Man devil in a Manchester, making love in a slack man. And the video, the Manchester video. Yeah, it's at the video, the Manchester video. Wow, this is not commando, this is not Rambo. This is not the style named G.I. Joe. Say I ain't Trevor, do not come to star up. You show a competition, something that you don't know. This not the video, the Manchester video. Yeah, this is the video, the Manchester video. I hear a lot of talking in the ghetto. I hear it on the street, I hear it in the lane. I hear the people calling certain fancy name. I talk about them give the girl them cocaine. Them give them Spanish fly to make them get high. Them give them US dollars, them give them gold chain. And then them be the intersexual thing. This is the video, the Manchester video. Yeah, this is the video, the Manchester video. The Manchester video. Manchester video. Manchester video. A man sits in a bar in a Manchester. Him and him friends, them a drink some liquor. The whole of them a watch a videotape recorder. All of a sudden, he see him daughter in a sexual act on the video track. Faint and drop flat on him back. This is the video, the Manchester video. Yeah, this is the video, the Manchester video. One, this is not commando, this is not Rambo. This is not the style named G.I. Joe. Say I ain't Trevor, do not come to star up the show. I come to tell you something that you don't know. This is not the video, the Manchester video. Yeah, it's not the video, the Manchester video. Yeah, video, the Manchester video.
That's Trevor Jr. and Manchester video, which seems curiously appropriate, really, at the moment. Why is it that you always have to wait 10 years after the event before anything worthwhile is shown on television? Why aren't they showing, like, DJ Cheese and Age of Chance and Supercat and Sonic Youth and things like that, instead of gangs of whelks in lumberjack shirts? It's not for me.
We're
Skate Rock Volume 3, the title of the LP. I was listening to Skate Rock Volume 4 earlier on today, not in the same league up here. The LP is subtitled Wild Riders of Boards. Botany 500.
It's a crazy situation. I keep running out of air. It's out of desperation that I've been drinking all this beer. My girlfriends are hung up. My friends have all left town. One day I'll get stronger. No one will cut me down. When it comes down to it, here's what I'm gonna do. I've got this bag full of guys here. They wanna meet you. They're mean and they're angry. They're strong and hard. They really wanna meet you. So here they are. One's a moon, and two's in the Here's when they both are. And four is believe me. Five is desperate. She says that I'm a man. And seven I keep under wraps. Because he's living down inside of my. It's a crazy situation. I'm running out of air. And if I was dead and gone, who would really care? And I've been saving all my money to buy back the day when I found things funny. Someone make it go away. But when it comes down to it, here's what I'm gonna do. I've got a bag full of guys here. They want to meet you. They're mean and they're angry. They're strong and hard. They really wanna meet you. So here they are. One's a moon, and two's in the Three is Billy Bonds, and four is Billy me. Five is desperate. She says that I'm a man, and seven I keep under wraps. 'Cause he's living down inside of my.
I thought it was going to come back, I must say. That's Botany 500. You liked that one, did you, Janice?
I do, I like that one very much indeed. I will be playing that.
Right. It's called Bully Beef, and we'll be back in just a moment with Fission, Amityville, The Slaughterhouse. But first...
Radio 1 News.
At 10:30, Leslie Cohen reporting. South Africa has announced that it's taking a series of reprisals against the neighbouring black states of Zimbabwe and Zambia because of their support for economic sanctions. There's to be stricter border controls and a special levy on all goods crossing South African territory. Mrs. Thatcher has gone into hospital for an operation to her right hand. She'll be having surgery to remove skin tissue, which is pulling her little finger towards the palm of her hand. In Northern Ireland, a fuel company has decided to end its contract with the police in Newry. This follows an announcement today by the IRA that it will be extending its terrorist campaign against people supplying goods to the security forces. The Prime Minister of the Irish Republic, Dr. Gareth Fitzgerald, described the threats as a desperate attempt to destroy the Anglo-Irish agreement. Police in Belfast are questioning 3 men about the murder last week of a businessman whose firm supplied building materials to the security forces. The man was shot dead in a pub in County Tyrone. Scotland Yard say that a 58-year-old man has been charged with raping an 8-year-old girl at a church in Brixton in South London. He'll appear in court in the morning. Boy George has spoken out again about the dangers of heroin. The Culture Club star, who was fined last week for possessing heroin, said on Radio 1 this evening that many addicts believed they could cope with the drug.
Unfortunately, I always thought that, I could be I could control it, which is what I suppose any intelligent person thinks, oh yeah, I'll be able to handle it. But with heroin, it isn't like that. You can't handle it. You don't have any choice or control over it. It is the boss. It's not a case of, I will just have a little bit and leave it. It's a terrible drug. You become physically dependent on it. You just can't do anything without it. You just become totally and utterly dependent on it. And you also become dependent on very seedy people. It's terrible.
Princess Anne has had her first success as a jockey. She rode her horse Gulfland to victory at Redcar, beating the odds-on favourite by 5 lengths. That's all for now. We'll be back with more news at midnight.
a vision. Groove is just a rocket with Satan, 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 Satan,
And it's British. That's Fission. I'm not sure if it's in the shops yet, to be quite honest with you, but shortly, no doubt. Amityville, The Slaughterhouse, the title of it. And back to our 1977 session from the Slits, Vindictive. Where are they now, I wonder? Those are the Slits from 1977, and that's called Vindictive. Mark hasn't changed much, has he? This is from Wild Willie Barrett, or it says actually on the label Barrett and two names, and the LP seems to be called Organic Bondage. Most peculiar thing. Mine came in a kind of wooden sleeve, but I'm not quite sure that that's how they're generally available. I think mine's a bit of an exclusive, really. Only the good die young.
You've been speaking much too fast. Hey girls, slow down if you want to play the cool stalk. You've been saying I was strange. You're much the same, maybe we both are. What becomes of you, you're grown? You ought to know just where you're going. Love songs by forgotten stars, they haunt your heart and your phobia's growing. I said, hey, don't let life become a drag, 'cause only the good die young. You were pretty and I was good at that. hey, don't let life become a drag. 'Cause only the good die young. And you were pretty, and I was good at it. You've been speaking much too fast. Hey girl, slow down if you want to fly the Kustark. You've been saying I was strange. You much the same, maybe we both are. I said, hey, don't let life become a drag. 'Cause only the good die young. And you were pretty, and I was good. We were pretty good at that.
Sorry, there we go. That's Wild Willie Barrett, as was. Now Barrett and two names on galvanised records. Only the Good Die Young. And the LP's called whatever I said it was called before, Organic Bondage. Now we're back with the prefects, led by the genial Supremo of Vindaloo Records, as they would doubtless say somewhere. And this one's called Escort Girls.
So just to recall the point, and don't know who's singing me, oh, shit, but that Mr. Fun.
Band, session produced by Tony Wilson and recorded on Friday the 11th of August 1978. The lineup: Ada drums, Ted Ward bass, Joe Motivator rhythm guitar backing vocals, Roots lead guitar and backing vocals, and Robert Lloyd vocals and harmonica. Here's more from Supercat.
Play by the king, for love is all I bring. Tom is the king in the ring. Do it, check. Wada-da-ding, wada-da-dang-ding, bim! Wada-da-ding, wada-da-dang-ding. Jamaica, Jamaica, galang-galang. Jamaica, Jamaica, galang-galang. Me say me know about Jamaica. Go let me tell you, say me know about Jamaica. Well, watch your man. Jamaica is a land where full of adventure. Land of golden sunshine and me say wood and water. The famous Blue Mountain and the Great Duns River. Jamaica surrounded by Caribbean water. The our walk Indian was the originator. Then the Spaniards, the English and no more follow. Mr. Christopher Columbus was a great founder. Born and grown down in Italy in a Geneva. Germany was the son of a wool weaver. But then he strived to become a sailor. Him travel go and Spain, him was a navigator. Checking Ferdinand and Queen Isabella. Him get the Pinta, the Nine of the Santa Maria. And 200 man armed like soldier. Them sword pan them, they pan them one shooter. Columbus are the captain, him and the roller. Them steal out of Spain across the blue water. Down at San Salvador, first them discover. Continue their invasion, reach down in a Cuba. In a 1494, them reach in a Jamaica. And landed at the place called Santa Gloria. Me say down in a the Sentence Bay area. But daylight catch them in a dry harbor. Because them run short of wood and run out of water. Them dock up them ship and fling out them anchor. And take out them arms and invade the area. Whole launch and attack some of our walk warrior. Them never lift a shot about one and run them a fire. The chief on him ass and him head full of feather. Him are up on him back and him Winchester. Columbus take over like a brave soldier. Boom! Back out him sword and lick him one shooter. I miss a little up and that a beer shot start fire. I saw them get the conquer in a Jamaica. And give all the riches to the Spain leader. In a 1655 blood run like river. When the English fight the Spaniards and then take over. Come listen, Mr. Cat and him a teach culture. In a 1658 it was a small disaster. Jamal it was the buckle down and Ryan over. In a 1659 we first civil governor. Edward the Young, him was a brave warrior. Him fight like a lion to save Jamaica. Him never lose a war, him always conquer. In a 1755 I must still remember. Say Kingston town the capital for Jamaica. Me know about Jamaica, Cribis to corner. Me a go tell you how much acre make up Jamaica. Me say 2.8 million acre. And you can drive from Kingston to Wolamba, Santa Cruz of Lamar, and then you touch a Nova. If you can't drive a junction, you must turn over. Barry G, our greatest radio entertainer. Jamaica, Jamaica, brrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrr